How's it going, everyone? Louis back for part 2 of To Pimp a Butterfly. I don't want to spend too much time on this intro. I just want to get right back into the music. It's been a couple days since we listened to the first half of the album. I didn't have enough time to get the full reaction done in one sitting, so gave it a couple days to let those songs sink in, and we're going to start out with the next song is going to be Mama, so we're just going to let For Sale play right into that.
I remember you was conflicted, misusing your influence. Sometimes I did the same. Found myself screaming in the hotel room. I didn't want to self-destruct.
So I went running for answers until I came home.
Oh shit, I need that sloppy. That sloppy.
I love how calming the music is right now.
This feeling is unmatched. This feeling is brought to you by adrenaline and good rap. Black Pendleton, ball cap. We don't share the same synonym, far back. Mimicking radio's nemesis made me whack. My innocence limited, the experience lacked. The mind of a literate writer, but I did it in fact. You admitted it once I submitted it, wrapped in plastic. Remember scribbling, scratching, diligent sentences backwards, visiting freestyle ciphers for your reaction. Now I can live in this stadium, pack it the fastest. Thank God for rap. I would say it got me a plaque, but what's better than that? The fact it brought me back home.
We've been waiting for you, waiting for you.
I know everything. I know everything. Know myself. I know morality, spirituality, good and bad health. I know fatality, my hauncher. I know everything. I know Compton. I know wisdom. I know bad religion. I know good karma. I know everything. I know history. I know the universe works mentally. I know the perks of bullshit. Is it meant for me? I know if I'm generous at heart, I don't need recognition. The way I'm rewarded, well, that's God's decision. I know you know that line's for Compton School District. Just give it to the kids, don't gossip about how it's distributed. I know what I know, and I know it well not to ever forget. Until I realized I didn't know shit the day I came home.
We've been waiting for you, waiting for you, waiting for you.
I met a little boy that resembled my features. Nappy afro, gap in his smile. Hand-me-down sneakers bounce through the crowd. Running number home man and woman that crossed him. He looked at me and said, Kendrick, you do know my language. You just forgot because of what public schools have painted. Oh, I forgot, don't kill my vibe, that's right, you're famous. I used to watch on Channel 5, TV was taken, and that was bullshit. I know your life is full of turmoil, you're spoiled by fantasies of who you are. I feel bad for you, I can attempt to enlighten you without frightening you. Tell your homies especially to come back home.
Little switch up.
This is a word premiere. This is a word premiere.
I've been looking for you my whole life, and every time for the feeling I can barely describe. Where you reside? Is it in a woman? Is it in money or man? God, tell me something, got me losing my mind. You make me wanna jump.
Let's talk about Let's talk about
I say, where you at? From the front to the back. I'm looking for you, I react. Only when you react. I thought I found you back in the ghetto when I was 17 with the 30th special. Maybe you in a dollar bill, maybe you're not real. Don't lie to me, I'm suicidal when you think I can make you have again. I can bridge for you if you tell me what the...
Whoa. Okay. That was just as packed, if not more, than that first half. Okay, let's okay, he didn't give us a chance to rest. Okay, now that I've been able to collect my thoughts, what I was noticing about the music is it's very calming. It's almost like you're in a lounge setting, and that is a good foundation for this set of lyrics because they're so dense thematically that you don't want to overlayer those lyrics with something that is very dense musically, otherwise it'd be way too overwhelming for the listeners. The phrasings and content of this first verse are full of substance and weight, but it takes someone who's as talented as Kendrick to actually pull it off rhythmically. The mind of a literate rapper, but I did it in fact instead of fiction. But every single one of these lines works on so many levels. I think the chorus is from the perspective of his mom. Maybe she thought that he was going on to bigger and better things and was going to forget about his city, but it was because of his upbringing that brought him back. So then we go into the next verse, and this is where I see those God qualities that he was talking about earlier come into play, because it's almost like he's saying he's all-knowing, he's all-seeing, and maybe it's coming from a place of familiarity. Now he can actually show that he's been on both sides of that coin and maybe share that wealth of knowledge with everyone else. I know fatality might haunt you. So there he's talking about all of the people that in his life have been killed on the streets of Compton. I know wisdom, I know bad religion, I know good karma. So kind of going into those themes of Good Kid, Mad City, where he's trying to hold on to his faith regardless of all the things that are going on around him. This group of lines right here is really interesting, and I know this hits home for him, so I'm really curious to see what the meaning behind it is. And I love that he ended the second verse with, until I realized I didn't know shit. It's very humbling for him to leave it out on the table that he says he doesn't know anything, even with all of his experience. It seemed like in the third verse, Kendrick saw a reflection of himself in a kid, whether that was maybe a younger relative or a random kid on the street. This last section opens up with, this is a world premiere, so maybe this is the first time that he's showing this part of him to the world for the first time. To me, I think it's talking about the passion that drives him in his life. And then in the later section, it looks like he's trying to describe where he thought he found it, but none of that was quite true, or at least they were different stages of his passion depending on the different stages of his life. I think that is one of the strongest songs that we've heard from Kendrick, and I really, really liked it on the first listen. That one's going to take a lot of listens to really catch everything that he was saying in it. But the next song is Hood Politics. Let's go.
Pick up the phone, nigga. Every time I call, it's going to voicemail.
I love the switch up on this musically.
Rap shit, nigga.
I've been A1 since day one, you niggas boo-boo. Your own boy, your block that you're from, boo-boo. Little hoes you went to school with, boo-boo. Baby mama and your new bitch, boo-boo. I don't give a fuck about no politics and rap, my nigga. My little homies done a deuce, ain't never coming back, my nigga. So you better go hard every time you jump on wax, my nigga. Fuck what they talk about, your shit is where it's at, my nigga. Came in this game, you stuck your fangs in this game. You want no chain in this game, your hood, your name in this game. Up, skip, hop, trip, drop, flip, flop with the white tube sock. It goes. That's what the products smell like when the chemicals mix. 50 niggas salute out the Compton Zoo with the extras. Boo boo, we was in the hood. 14 with the deuce. 14 years later, going hard like we used to on the dead homies. On the dead homies.
Like those synths.
Just got my dick sucked. Oh yeah, Puto wanna squabble with me, Barrio. Oh yeah, tell them they can run it for the cardio. Oh yeah, everything is scandalous. Slow motion for the ambulance. The project filled with cameras. Compton to Congress. Set tripping all around. Ain't nothing new but a fluid new deal. My Crips and Red Blood against Red State versus a Blue State. Which one you governing? They give us guns and drugs, call us thugs, making they promise to fuck with you. Everybody wanna talk about who this and who that, who the realest and who whack, or who white and who black. Critics wanna mention that they missed when hip hop was rapping. Motherfucker, if you did, the Killer Mike could be platinum. Y'all priorities fucked up, put energy in round. But I resolved this out that private hard while sitting down with Jay. He said it's funny how one verse can fuck up the game. I've been A1 since day one, you niggas boo-boo. I remember you was conflicted, misusing your influence. Sometimes I did the same. I didn't want to self-destruct. The evils of Lucy was all around me. So I went running for answers. But that didn't stop survivor's guilt. Going back and forth trying to convince myself the stripes I earned. My loved ones was fighting a continuous war back in the city. I was entering a new one.
Wow. I love that he just dropped all of that in one go. First off, I really liked the intro here with that phone call. I really liked the style of music he went with. I wish we stayed in it just a little bit longer, but that's only because I really, really enjoyed that. I had to look this up, and Kendrick was about 28 years old when this album dropped. So these two lines right here, he's recalling his childhood with his friends, and then here he's saying, 14 years later, here we are, and we're still the same people. The next section, he's talking about everything that they had to do when they were younger to survive in Compton, and to me, it's kind of like a reflection of what was happening in Money Trees. This section right here definitely sticks out to me because it seems like it's talking about different gangs and what is expected of you in those gangs. This next section, I think it's talking about when Kendrick finally came back to Compton and all the different groups that are there and how they're welcoming him back. At least that's what I'm thinking. The second verse is where it adds a whole nother layer of complexity because it's talking about maybe different shootings or different crime scenes in their neighborhoods, and it's almost like they're becoming a reality show with how often it's happening and with all of the spotlight on them. And I think the main standout from this entire song is this section right here. That just gave me chills when I heard that. The last couple lines I want to highlight is when he says, critics miss when hip-hop was rapping, and Kendrick is saying, well, no, you don't, because if you did, then you'd be promoting someone like Killer Mike, and he'd be the one making it platinum and not these other artists who are changing the game from what was rap to what is now commercial hip-hop for the radio. Everything that has been described in this song is so vastly different than anything that I've ever experienced in my life, but Kendrick's way of framing this story is in a way that I'm able to understand and get just a small glimpse into that world. These two songs are just as dense as the previous half, and I don't know where we're going to be going from this point on. The next song is How Much a Dollar Costs.
How much a dollar really costs? The question is detrimental, paralyzed in my thoughts. Parasites in my stomach keep me with a gut feeling, y'all. Gotta see how I'm chilling once I park this luxury car. Indigenous African, only spoke Zulu. My American tongue was lyric. Walked out the gas station, a homeless man with a steady tan complexion. Asked me for 10 rand, stressing about dry land. He begged and pleaded, asked me to feed him twice. I didn't believe it, told him beat it. Contributed money just for his pipe, I couldn't see it. I told him I didn't have it, then closed my door. Tell me how much a dollar cost. Something told me to keep it in park until I could see the reason why he was mad at a stranger, like I was supposed to save him, like I'm the reason he homeless and asking me for a favor, staring at me for the longest until he finally asked, have you ever opened up Exodus 14? A humble man is all that we ever need. Tell me how much a dollar cost. I looked at him and said, every nickel is mine to keep. He looked at me and said, know the truth, it'll set you free. Now tell you just how much a dollar costs. The price of having a spot in heaven. Embrace your loss, I am God.
I washed my hands, I said my grace. What more do you want from me? Turn this page, help me change to right my wrong.
What a closer on that. Musically, that song stayed in the same pocket, but I love just how calming this second half has been. What he was used to in his previous life before he made it big to where it is now, it's giving him a new perspective of greed and that desire to gain more and more, and it's actually eating away at him. And that's not something that is unique to just Kendrick. That's everyone who makes it big. There's so many musicians, artists, superstar athletes who have gone bankrupt because they don't know how to manage their finances. As I get to this section, I had to look up what 10 Rand is, and that is a currency in South Africa. So this story is taking place in Africa. And Kendrick is saying that this homeless man is asking him for some money, maybe to buy some food, but the way he's describing it, it sounds like he's just trying to fuel his drug addiction. And I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with this scenario. The homeless man is trying to assure him that this is not about his drugs. He actually needs the money to eat or to survive. The second verse, Kendrick is describing what happened after he shut his door on this person, and he's starting to lose his temper because he feels like the homeless person is almost making Kendrick out to be the bad guy. And Kendrick is thinking, well, why should I feel guilty for you being homeless? That's not my problem. So now the context of the title has changed, because what it's asking is, how much does a dollar cost for your time, for your emotion? The guy's only asking for $1 just so he can eat something, and it's setting Kendrick over the edge in this scenario, something that I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with. Here they exchange some words to one another, and the homeless man says to Kendrick, and I'll tell you how much a dollar costs. The price of having a spot in heaven, embrace your loss, I am God. So it goes back to that biblical verse. If I remember it correctly, it says, whatsoever you do to the least of my brethren, you have also done to me. And that is clearly being showcased right here. And it follows with Kendrick being remorseful in his actions and realizing what he has done. And now we have gone full circle from the previous songs where all of Kendrick's friends believed that he had deserted them when he had left Compton. He was trying to reassure them that no, he didn't, that he is still grounded in his roots and he can still be the same person at his core like we saw in Hood Politics. But here we see that it's much deeper than that, because he is turning his back on those that really need help and are asking for help, and he sees it as some sort of ploy or some sort of hustle. Again, everything that he has described, I'm sure all of us are familiar with this exact scenario. I absolutely loved how this was framed, and I love that he's so in tune with his faith. The next song is Complexion, a Zulu love.
I'm with this
Complexion.
two steps.
Complexion don't mean a thing.
This is solo live.
Dark is the midnight hour, her bright is the morning sun. Give a fuck about your complexion, I know what the Germans done. Sneak me through the back window, I'm a good field nigga. I made a flower for you out of cotton just to chill with you. Ooh, complexion.
Two steps.
It all feels the same.
This is solo live.
Dark is the midnight hour, her bright is the morning sun. Brown skinned but your blue eyes tell me your mama can't run. Sneak. Beauty is what you make it. I used to be so mistaken by different shades of faces. Then Wit told me a woman is woman of the creation. It all came from God, then you was my confirmation. You like it? I love it. You like it? I love it. You like it? I love it.
Keep your head up, when did you stop? Love and die. Color of your skin, color of your eyes. That's the real blues, baby, like you met Jay's, baby. You blew me away. 12 years a slave, 12 years of age, thinking my shade too dark. I love myself, I no longer need Cupid. Enforcing my dark side like a young George Lucas. Light don't make you smart, being dark don't make you stupid. And spike your self-esteem, the new James Bond gonna be black as me. Black as brown, hazelnut, cinnamon, black tea. And it's all beautiful to me. Call your brothers magnificent, call all the sisters queens. We all on the same team, blues and pyrus, no colors ain't a thing.
That was good.
I don't see Compton, I see something much worse. The land of the landmines, the hell that's on earth.
I love that song. This song seems pretty straightforward in its message as far as Kendrick is concerned, but seems like he's talking about a love between two slaves. Dark as the midnight hour, I'm bright as the morning sun. Brown skin, but your blue eyes tell me your mama can't run. So he is a light-complected person, and she is more dark-complected. She has blue eyes, so her mother is white. As he's talking a little bit further down here, he is telling her that it doesn't matter what she looks like or what color she is, even though they are the same race, he still loves her. And he says beauty is beauty. And I'm looking at the feature of this song, Rhapsody. That verse was fucking awesome. There was a lot of self-love and acceptance and reassurance for both her and her listeners. I think this was an absolutely perfect feature for this song. This song is giving me the same flares as Real from Good Kid, Mad City thematically. Just about, again, that acceptance, that reassurance. I absolutely loved this song. The next one is The Blacker the Berry.
Hypocrite in 2015. Once I finish this, witnesses will convey just what I mean. Been feeling this way since I was 16. Came to my senses. You never liked this anyway. Fuck your friendship, I meant it. You hate me, don't you? You hate my people. Your plan is to terminate my culture. You're fucking evil. I want you to recognize that I'm a proud monkey. You vandalized my perception, but can't take down from it. The blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice. The blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice. The blacker the berry.
I saw them treat you like a slave, can be black. Oh, if you feel money for pain, can be black. I'm an I said them put me in a chain, can be black. I'm at you now, me gold chain full of rocks.
You hate me, don't you? I know you hate me just as much as you hate yourself. Jealous of my wisdom and cards I dealt. Watching me as I pull up, fill up my tank, then pill out. Muscle cars like pull up, show you what these big wheels bout.
But now we have a big whip park from the block.
Very aggressive song vocally.
Remember this, every race starts from the block. Just remember that.
This plot is bigger than me. It's generational hatred. It's cynicism. It's grimy, little justification. I'm African American. I'm African. I'm black as the heart of a fucking Aryan. So no matter how much I say I like to preach with the Panthers, or tell Georgia State Marcus Garvey got all the answers, or try to celebrate February like it's my B-Day, or eat watermelon chicken and Kool-Aid on weekdays. So why did I weep when Trayvon Martin was in the street? When gang banging make me kill a nigga blacker than me. Hypocrite.
He is something else, man. The way he just pulls the rug from under you in every single song. What an insane way to end that song too, musically. I think there's a lot of double meaning in the intro, in the sense that a lot of people, when they describe certain things that they want, you know, black clothes, or they want black accessories. They want everything in their life to be black. And the contrast in this is talking about the actual people. Kendrick is saying, no, you don't, or then why does the country treat us this way? And it's sort of a tongue-in-cheek response, but it's true in a lot of ways, the way that they are represented and respected in society. There's this duality that is conflicting in Kendrick, in the sense that he is accepting of who he is. It also seems like he is acknowledging that he may also be part of the problem, because he is human just like all of us. That was a really interesting feature throughout this song. It doesn't have a credit in the song, at least from what I'm seeing. He added a level of aggression that enhanced what Kendrick was doing in his parts. This is an amazing song, and I know there's going to be a lot of things that I'm not going to be able to touch on in the review, but I would love to get a discussion going along to see what everyone else's thoughts are on the themes that are running through this song. The next song is You Ain't Gotta Lie, Mama Said.
Hey, y'all close that front door. Y'all let flies in this motherfucker. Tell you what my mama had said. She like, I can spot you a mile away. I can see your insecurities written all on your face. So predictable your words. I know what you're gonna say. Who you fooling or you assuming you could just come in here. Ask where the hoes at to impress me. Ask where the money bags to impress me. Say you got the burner stash to impress me. It's all in your head, homie. You ain't gotta lie to kick it, my nigga. You ain't gotta lie. You ain't gotta lie. You ain't gotta lie to kick it, my nigga. You ain't gotta try so hard.
I really like that message.
And the world don't respect you and the culture don't accept you, but you think it's all love. Jealousy, complex, emotional, complex, self-pity, complex, under oath, complex. The loudest one in the room, nigga, that's a complex. You ain't gotta lie to kick it, my nigga. You ain't gotta try so hard.
I really like this
You
song.
ain't gotta lie to kick it, my nigga. You ain't gotta lie. You ain't gotta lie with me. You can never relate me to him, to her, or that, or them, or you. The truth, you love to bend in the back, in the bed, on the floor. That's your house, on the couch, in the mouth. I'll be out, really don't. You ain't gotta lie to kick it, my nigga. You ain't gotta lie. You ain't gotta lie. You ain't gotta lie to kick it, my nigga. You ain't gotta try so hard.
I love the vibe of this whole song. Wow. God, that was so good. I love that. Kendrick put into words what I think a lot of us can relate to, in that your mom is the one person who can read you better than you can read yourself. And she could read through any truth or lie that you tell her. Maybe this is another self-reflection in that context, where in the context of Real, it was accepting who he is in that moment in time while he was in Compton. Now, maybe he is evolving into another version of himself, and he has to now rediscover who he actually is in this stage of his life. This album is completely full of highlights for me, but I think this is probably a top 3 song for me on this album as of right now. The next song is I. Okay, so this is a continuation from the previous song.
We bringing up nobody.
One, two, what's happening, fool?
Come on up.
I done been through a whole lot. Tried tribulation, but I know God. The devil wanna put me in a bow tie. Played at the holy water, don't go try, yeah. And I love my, I want you looking at me. Tell me what do you see? I love myself. I put a bullet in the back of the head and the bullet. I love myself. Illuminated by the hand of God, boy, don't seem shy. They wanna say it's a war outside. Bomb in the street, gun in the hood, mob of police. Whack on the corner with a line full of fiend and a bottle full of lean, and a mother wanna scream, yeah, I duck these cold faces, post up feet, fight for bases. Dreams are reality's piece. Blow steam in the face of the beast. Sky can fall down, wind can cry down. Look at me, motherfucker, I smile. I love myself. And when you're looking at me, tell me what do you see? I love myself.
This would be the song you'd want to hear live.
Lift up your head and keep moving. Turn the mic up. 1, 2, 3. I went to war last night. With a automatic weapon, don't nobody call a medic. I'ma do it till I get it right. I went to war last night. Not on my time. Killing music. Not on my time. We can say that shit for the streets. We can say that shit just for the kids, bro. Yeah, how many we lost? No, for real, answer the question. How many niggas we done lost, bro? This year alone. Niggas gotta make time, bro. The judge make time. You know that. The judge make time, right? Mic check, mic check, mic check, mic check, mic check.
It's so crazy that this is part of the song.
So I'ma dedicate this one verse to Oprah on how the infamous sensitive N-word control us. Well, this is my explanation straight from Ethiopia. N-E-G-U-S. Definition, royalty. King royalty. Wait, listen. N-E-G-U-S. Description, black emperor, king ruler. Now let me finish. The history books overlooked the word and hide it. America tried to make it to a house divided. Kendrick Lamar, by far, realest sneakers alive.
Oh my God. Wow. What the hell? I got chills. Okay. I'm so conflicted because I can't choose my favorite song, let alone my favorite songs, because they're all so fucking amazing. I really liked the style that he went with this one. I love the style of that song because as a drummer, that was the type of energy that I can feel myself playing in a band. And I think that that is one of the songs that he almost certainly has to do live. That song seemed to be a sequel to some of the earlier songs we heard on this album, because while some of the earlier songs were more about his journey to fame and to stardom, that one seemed to be more reflective of who Kendrick is as a person. There's not a whole bunch that I want to break down in this song because I feel like the message is pretty straightforward, but I just love his overall lyrical pacing and phrasing in this entire song. I loved what it was doing rhythmically, and then the call and answer between the backing vocals with the drums and the different instruments. And I love that last portion of the song where he's talking to the crowd and trying to get them refocused on the music to live their best life, but especially that last section. And I love how he has repurposed and recontextualized a word that has plagued American history for centuries into a word of royalty, into a word of kingship. I mean, that last section, while he was talking about that, literally gave me chills hearing that. It almost felt like that last section was Kendrick's way of bringing a renaissance to the country. We have one song left, and that is Mortal Man. I love how bright this is.
Let these words be your earth and moon. You consume every message. As I lead this army, make room for mistakes and depression. And with that being said, my nigga, let me ask this question. When shit hit the fan, is you still a fan? When shit hit the fan. When shit hit the fan, is you still a fan? For mistakes and depression. And with that being said, my nigga, let me ask this question. When shit hit the fan, is you still a fan?
Are you gonna stick around?
Shit hit the fan, is you still a fan? But me, could I let you down easily? Is your heart where it need to be? Is your smile on permanent? Is your foul on lifetime? What you know where the sermon is? If I died in this next line, if I'm tried in the court of law, if the industry cut me off, if the government want me dead, plant cocaine in my car, would you judge me a drug head or see me as K. Lamar? I freed you from being a slave in your mind, you're very welcome. You tell me my song is more than a song, it's surely a blessing. But a prophet ain't a prophet till he asks you this question. When shit hit the fan, is you still a fan? When shit hit the fan,
he's asking if your fight or flight is going to kick in.
Right. Make sure you ask your friend, what kind of den did they put you in when the lions start hissing? What kind of bridge did they burn revenge on your mind when it's mentioned? You wanna love like Nelson, you wanna be like Nelson. I've been wrote off before, I got abandonment issues. I hold grudges like bad judges, don't let me resent you. That's not Nelson like, want you to love me like Nelson. I went to Robbins Island analyzing, that's where his cell is, so I can find clarity, like how much you cherish me. Is this relationship a fake or real as the heavens beast? How many leaders you said you needed, then left them for dead? Is it Moses, is it Huey Newton or Detroit Red? Is it Martin Luther, JFK shooter, you assassin? Is it Jackie, is it Jesse? Oh, I know it's Michael Jackson. Oh, when shit hit the fan, is you still a fan? I lead this army, make room for mistakes and depression. And if you ride with me, nigga, let me ask this question, nigga.
This is awesome.
I remember you was conflicted, misusing your influence. Sometimes I did the same, abusing my power full of resentment. So I went running for answers until I came home. But that didn't stop survivor's guilt. But while my loved ones was fighting a continuous war back in the city, I was entering a new one. Made me want to go back to the city and tell the homies what I learned. The word was respect. We unify and stop the enemy from killing us. But I don't know. I'm no mortal man. Maybe I'm just another nigga. Other than that, now that I finally got a chance to holler at you, I always want to ask you about a certain situation, about a metaphor, actually. You spoke on the ground.
The ground is going to open up and swallow the evil.
Right.
That's how I see it. My word is born. I see, and the ground is a symbol for the poor people.
Right.
The poor people is going to open up this whole world and swallow up the rich people. And hungry.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's going to be like, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna be, there might be some cannibalism out this month. They might eat the rich. You know what I'm saying?
All right, so how would you say you managed to keep a level of sanity?
By my faith in God, by my faith in the game, and by my faith in all good things come to those that stay true.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it was happening to me for a reason. You know what I'm saying? I was noticing shit. I was punching the right buttons, and it was happening. So it's no problem, you know.
It's nothing but turmoil going on. So I wanted to ask you, what you think is the future for me and my generation today?
I think that niggas is tired of grabbing shit out the stores, and next time it's a riot, it's gonna be like bloodshed, for real. I don't think America know that. I think America think we was just playing. It's gonna be some more playing, but it ain't gonna be no playing. It's gonna be murder up in this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna happen.
That's crazy, man. In my opinion, the only hope that we kind of have left is music and vibrations. A lot of people don't understand how important it is. You know, sometimes I can like get behind a mic and I don't know what type of energy I'm gonna push out or where it comes from. Trip me out sometimes.
Because it's spirits. We ain't even really rapping. We just letting our dead homies tell stories for us.
Damn. It's actually something a good friend had wrote describing my world. It says, the caterpillar is a prisoner to the streets that conceived it. Its only job is to eat or consume everything around it. One thing it notices is how much the world shuns him, but praises the butterfly. The butterfly represents the talent, the thoughtfulness, and the beauty within the caterpillar. But having a harsh outlook on life, the caterpillar sees the butterfly as weak and figures out a way to pimp it to his own benefits. Wings begin to emerge, breaking the cycle of feeling stagnant. Finally free, the butterfly sheds light on situations that the caterpillar never considered. Although the butterfly and caterpillar are completely different, they are one and the same. What's your perspective on that? Pop. Pop. Pop.
That song was like everything. This entire song is just everything that we listen to wrapped into one. The message that I'm getting from this song, at least the first section, is Kendrick is explaining to his listeners that he understands how much his music has impacted and changed his listeners' lives, and he's very grateful and thankful for that. But at the same time, he also wants to understand from them, are they going to stay by his side if something goes batshit crazy and shit hits the fan? Kendrick just wants to be assured that those that say that they have his back are going to be there through it all, because he knows what it's like to rely on somebody and they turn their back on him. And then he mentioned Michael Jackson's scandal, which had a huge impact on his reputation moving forward. And Michael Jackson was so beloved by so many people, they were so quick to turn their back on him. Kendrick is aware that that exact same reception can happen to him as well. It's insane to me that he was actually able to have this as a portion of his album, and I think it worked so well. I think the main message that I was getting from this conversation that was taking place is you're going to meet resistance in the world in any aspect of your life, regardless of what your background is. I think the thing that was really eye-opening to me in this entire conversation is this section right here, where pretty much verbatim says exactly what was happening during the George Floyd incident with everything that was going on around the country. It's an insane realization that this is where we were as a country and nobody was quite paying attention to it. And then I started getting a little emotional when he followed that conversation up with the fact that all we have left to cling on to in this life is music. That conversation really resonated a lot with me because that is the exact reason why I'm doing these album reviews in the first place, because there's a lot of emotion that goes on in these songs even when no words are being spoken. This is, in its own way, the perfect outlet for me when it comes to music, because there's so much that goes unsaid when discussing the nuances of music. And I'm so glad that I have this outlet to discuss it with y'all. This album is beyond perfect. I am still reeling over some of the earlier songs from the first half, and this second half just somehow managed to step it up on all fronts. Musically, rhythmically, thematically. I love the constant narrative development that was going on from song to song, and then when we finally got to the end, how it all wrapped into one. I can totally understand now why this album is being considered one of the greatest rap albums and one of the greatest albums, period, of all time. In fact, as of yesterday, the album has surpassed OK Computer as the greatest album of all time on Rate Your Music. I'm so excited to get into more of Kendrick's discography, but as of right now, I really just want to settle with this album, really try to dissect a lot of the themes that are running through it. It's going to take multiple listens to get every little bit out of it, but this album has some of my favorite songs of all time now. Thanks so much, guys, for checking out both of these videos. I really appreciate it. And please let me know any feedback you have on either the reviews or on the album in general. Let me know some of your favorite songs off of this album, too. I know that's going to be really hard because they're all perfect, but I'd love to hear y'all's thoughts on that. I'm just kidding. Don't, because I'm looking at this and I can't even come up with a favorite, let alone my top 5. They're all fucking amazing. But with that being said, I want to give a little sneak peek for the rest of the month to give you an idea of what we're going to be doing. Because it's February, we're going to be doing a whole month of love. That's going to be good love, bad love, self-love, toxic love, all sorts of love. And I already have the albums picked out, but if you have any other recommendations, if you would like to leave them in the comments, they might wind up making the cut for the month. But anyways, thanks so much, guys, for hanging out again, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Thanks.